All right, we are back for part 2 of episode 33 with Shane Garrett. The Instagram feed just cut out a minute and 35 seconds before the timer was supposed to end. So it completely cut him off. I don't understand why it does it to me. That's the second time now where there's plenty of time on the timer and it just... No, I didn't lose it, thank God. Last time I lost it. This time it just instantly ended. So I don't understand why Instagram did that to me. Shane is probably going, what the heck just happened? He just... Let me see. He should come on in just a second.
Hey.
Yeah, it can only go for an hour, and so it gives me a 2-minute warning at the top, and we have 35 seconds left on the warning, and it cut.
Oh,
So
well, I'm back.
back.
No harm, no foul. But anyways, I think what I was saying was that, our company, we're doing a little over $1 million. We did 1.2 last year. Our systems aren't going to work for a $4 million company. So, we weren't real worried about scaling a whole lot this year. We just kind of wanted to relax a little bit and enjoy the fruits of our labor. We will want to scale more at some point in time, I'm sure, but to move up, even to push to, $3-4 million company, those you're going to have to do different things. You're going to have different systems, and obviously there's guys with $10 million companies, and they got to have completely different systems as well. But for our size, and our style of work and in our market that we're in, and it works for us right now.
What is your market like?
College town, Columbia, Missouri. Columbia, Missouri is a small city right in the middle of Missouri. It's kind of the hub of mid-Missouri. They've got 2 major hospitals there. They've got a cancer center there. The University of Missouri is there, the MU Tigers, black and gold, hence our black and gold company colors. They've also got Columbia College. They've got Stevens College. So it's, it's your typical small, trendy college town. There's a lot of professors. There's a lot, with 2 hospitals, and us kind of being the medical hub of the whole of central Missouri. You have to go 2 hours to St. Louis or 3 hours to Kansas City to be at another major city. So all the small towns and small cities in mid-Missouri, Columbia is kind of a huge part of our economy. It's where everybody goes to buy cars or, do whatever. So there's a lot of money there. It's a very affluent city, and a very clean city, and it's always growing, always booming. Even in the, when we had the housing crisis back in, I don't even remember, 2008 or whatever, when the economy really tanked, Columbia still did pretty well. And we actually started growing pretty significantly, during the housing crisis, so the big crash. So Columbia's a nice little city. Not a ton to do around here. We're in the middle of Missouri. Southern Missouri's got a lot of outdoor opportunities. And mid-Missouri's, still a lot of cornfields and stuff. But as you start getting, as you go from Columbia south, things get better and better as far as, I'm an outdoor enthusiast. So when I look for something to do, I'm looking to go kayaking or fishing or taking my Jeep somewhere or something like that. So when I say there's not a lot to do around here, I'm talking about outdoor opportunities. But it's a good place to live. It really is. People in Missouri are good people, level-headed, friendly. Columbia's a very friendly city, and it's provided a great living for me and my family for 20 years now. So I don't live in Columbia. I live about 35 minutes outside of Columbia in a very small town, 900 people.
Do you do much new construction?
Well, I try not to. I try not to. We did one this year and got our ass kicked at it, like we always do. New construction. If it's a custom home with a big old budget and there are people that want what they want and want it done right, and it's like a time and material project, we'll do those. I try to avoid almost all new construction if possible because I just cannot seem to turn a profit. And then you're at the mercy of the contractor's schedule and all the other subcontractors' schedules. And, whereas with our repaint clients, we're usually most of the time we're telling them when we're going to start. Hey, we'll be there August 8th, or we'll be there whenever. Whereas when you're doing new construction, you have to very closely follow the contractor's schedule, which means you're at the mercy of the plumber, you're at the mercy of the drywaller, you're at the mercy of every other subcontractor there that didn't show up on time or didn't finish when they were supposed to, and you show up and it's not ready for you, or you get something done and they tear it up and you got to redo it. And there's so many. When we do our repaints, 9 times out of 10 we have control of the job site. It's our job site, so we don't have all those variables screwing up our work, screwing up our schedule, screwing up our profits. And new construction is just so competitive.
Yeah.
It's nice to do new homes. It's fun. It's fun to go in and have a blank canvas that nobody has screwed up yet. It's fun, other than the drywaller, but it's fun to be able to go in and have that house, the very first paint job, and put a really nice money paint job on it. But most contractors are not looking for that type of quality. They're looking for decent, okay quality and a good price and someone that can do it real fast.
Yeah.
So, and we did a lot. We've done hundreds of new homes. I mean, in the beginning of my career, we did tons and tons of new construction. I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, when I really started getting heavy into cabinet refinishing, because with us, exterior painting is a big part of what we do. We're known for fine interior finishes. We're known for cabinet refinishing. Well, interior repainting and cabinet refinishing is about 50% of my business. The other 50% is exterior painting, and exterior painting is also the most profitable jobs that we do. So I just don't make as good a money on interior repaints, because the time it takes to give that customer service experience and all that, and by the time you put the dollars together on that, it's just hard to command the prices that you can for exterior repaints when you've got guys on 3-story houses, and there's a lot of different reasons for it. There's a lot of different reasons why exteriors are just better jobs for us and more profitable jobs for us. But my point is, when it gets cold in the winter, we can't do exteriors anymore in Missouri. And the exteriors shut off about early part of November, and they don't come back on until about April. So we've got quite a few months there where we have to stay busy inside. And we used to do that through new construction. So basically you'd make great money in the summer, and then in the winter you'd lose a bunch of money, and you're starting over again in the spring. So I really started getting into cabinet refinishing right about the time that cabinet refinishing started to take off. This whole white cabinet craze, painted cabinet craze was taking off. And I spent a lot of time researching that, getting on Facebook forums, chat rooms, discussing with other contractors at home on my couch at 10 o'clock at night, reading threads, hundreds and hundreds of hours I've spent researching and learning cabinet refinishing, and the best processes to do that with. And through Facebook, we started selling a lot of cabinet jobs, and it got to the point where I didn't have to do new construction anymore. And we had a big new construction contractor that we did a lot of houses for, and I was able to just say, I'm done. I'm walking away from this relationship. I don't make any money on your jobs. I'm at the behest of your schedule all the time. You're very demanding, and I don't make any money, so it's hard to make you my number one priority anymore. So we just dropped new construction altogether, and really doubled down on Facebook advertising with cabinet refinishing and dialing in that process. We were in a 1,500 square foot shop, and we were only there about a year, and we had to step up to a 3,000 square foot shop because of the cabinet refinishing. We needed more space. We bought a spray booth, bought a big spray booth, big nice spray booth, bought the air-assisted airless Kremlins. We bought the same equipment that professional cabinet shops use, the same booths, the same sprayers, the same products. We don't paint cabinets, as you know, we refinish cabinets. And I know that you use different products that we do, but we use lacquer. which is, much higher level than just putting standard trim paint on your cabinet. So we just spend a lot of time dialing that process in and figuring out and again, it's very system driven. We do each set of cabinets the exact same way so that we can have consistent results, consistent profitability. We made much better money in cabinets and was able to almost completely get away from new construction.
Yeah, it's really nice to get to do that kind of work off site too.
Oh, I love shop work. Shop work's the best. You're
It is.
controlling your environment and you can play your music. And, even when I was a finish carpenter before I learned how to paint. I was a trim carpenter and I just enjoyed shop work, just standing at a workbench and repetitively building things or whatever instead of jumping all over the house. I really like staying in one stationary spot and really dialing in on stuff. So yeah, shop work's fun.
What is your cabinet refinish process like?
Well, brother, I got an 8-minute explainer video that I did. It's pretty cool. We send out to all our clients. So it's basically me standing in the kitchen doing my cabinet presentation. And we've got video clips of each parts of those processes so they can visually see it and they can hear it from me. So we send that to all our clients. We do almost all of our cabinet quotes virtually now. It's rare that we go do a site visit for a cabinet estimate unless it's already basically sold and we just need to kind of dial in a couple details or something. So our process is we send out that explainer video and then we have the client send us some photos and we explain to them how we need the photographs taken. And once we get the photos, it's real easy. I count the pieces, doors and drawers, and we have a price for that. And I have a template, an estimate rocket, which already has the description of what we do and everything. So I just punch in, this is a 42 piece, and we're going to do pinstripe glaze, and these are oak cabinets. And I go boop, 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 and then it just spits an estimate out in, 10 seconds. And then we send that over to the clients. So the way that starts is, first of all, we focus all our efforts on the on-site portion of the job. The most important thing for us is to get out of the kitchen as quickly as possible because the kitchen's the heartbeat of the home, and to have your kitchen plastic off and barricaded off and have guys working in your kitchen is very inconvenient. So, our real focus is getting the hell out of the kitchen as quickly as possible, getting that done, getting out of there so they can get back into their routine. So we'll pull the doors and drawer faces off and we set those aside. Those are going to go to our shop later to get refinished. And we'll go through and prep our cabinets first we'll clean them with a degreaser. Then we'll scuff sand them. We don't sand the finish off. We don't sand down to bare wood. We just scuff sand the existing finish. We actually want the existing finish on there because it helps with the build and it helps us give us more of a mirror smooth finish when we've got that existing finish on there. And then we wipe everything down with denatured alcohol. Pretty much the standard deal, clean, sand, degloss. So then we wrap that whole bad boy up like a Christmas present. We cover the floors, we cover the tile, we cover the appliances, we mask the countertops. We mask everything in there. We like to have our clients get the fridge out of the area for us before we show up. But we're masking walls. We're wrapping that bad boy up like it's Christmas. We'll use our erector rack, or not erector rack, but our zip wall system to put a plastic wall up between the kitchen and the rest of the house. Oftentimes we can have access through a garage utility room or a sliding door. That's best case scenario. That way we can come in and out of the kitchen area and we've never even got to step foot in the other part of the house or create any disturbance there. But if that's not the case, we do have zipper enclosures for our zip walls so we can zip it up and step through and zip it back down. We will set up we've got an exhaust fan with ductwork. So we'll set that up in the area and we'll run the ductwork through a door, through a window or something so we can get the fumes outside. We'll mask off all of the openings. We usually don't do the insides of the cabinets. It's usually a clear coat, nice clear coat finish, a natural finish that works great for your dishes and stuff. So we'll mask off the cabinet openings. And then we set up, we got a mobile Kremlin unit. Maybe we got a couple of them. So we'll set up our Kremlin sprayer. We'll spray a coat of shellac, and then we'll spray 2 coats of pre-catalyzed lacquer. Um, if we're doing oak cabinets, we'll double prime it and we'll back brush. And that way we're filling the grain as much as we can. It's never fully filled, as you know, but we try to fill in those little cracks that you see, when you paint oak cabinets white. So, but yeah, we prime the shellac and we put on 2 coats of lacquer. A great thing about the products we use is they dry incredibly fast. They're very durable and they dry incredibly fast. So we can shellac prime, sand again, do little spackle touch-ups, do the prep work we need to do in between, and spray 2 coats of lacquer on all in the same day. And it's dry enough to sand in 45 minutes. So that's a big part of how we get the hell out of there quickly. Most of our average kitchens, they'll take us 3 days to get out of the kitchen. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. Depends on if we're doing a 30-piece kitchen or if we're doing a 90-piece kitchen, But on average, we can usually be out of the kitchen in 3 days, and it's really only on spray day when they can't use their kitchen. So that's it. And when we're done, we pull everything down, clean everything up, wipe everything down. At that point, they've got full use of their kitchen. They don't have doors on, and they don't have drawer faces. They can put everything back in the cabinets. They can, it's 7 to 10 days for a full cure, but with just normal light use, they can get right back in their kitchen and start doing dishes and cooking food and doing stuff like that. We'll go to the shop. We hang. A lot of guys, there's obviously a debate in the painting industry. Some guys spray flat, some guys spray hanging. We find that with our sprayers and our products and our skill level, we have no issue spraying hanging. And it's way more efficient for us because we can do all sides at one time. We don't have to spray a side, let it dry, flip it over, spray a side, let it dry, flip it over. We can hang them up and shoot all 4 sides at one time. And we've got drying racks with wheels, with casters that we can roll in and out of the booth. So we'll go to the shop and we do the same thing to the doors. We clean them with degreaser, we scuff sand them, we wipe them down with denatured alcohol, and then we'll put little hooks in them and we'll hang them up on our little racks and we'll roll them into the booth and we'll shoot them. When that's done, we wrap them all up in bubble wrap and take them back to the job, rehang them, make sure everything's nice and straight, adjust hinges, so on and so forth. We also offer backsplash installation, countertop installation, soft close hinges. We work closely with a tile guy, and our paint store, our Benjamin Moore dealer, they also sell tile, flooring, window treatments, and stuff like that. So we can set our clients up with them to pick out a nice backsplash tile. We can have our tile guy come in, before the cabinets are refinished and put a new backsplash in. The cabinet maker that we work with, they can, so say for instance, you've got some arched doors on your cabinets, which are really out of style. You want to get rid of those. He can build you some new shaker style cabinet doors. If you want those nice soft close hinges and soft close drawers, he can install those for you. If you want to get some new granite or marble, or quartz countertops, we can handle all that. So we can take care of all that stuff prior to refinishing the cabinets, so that it truly is a total kitchen refresh, which is what we call it. It's not just painting cabinets. We come in and do all of it. You want some pendant lights, we can get our electrician over there. We can hang you some new pendant lights over the island. Any of that. We've actually, I don't know if you know, but we've been moving quite a bit into full on remodeling services. We don't build rooms on or anything like that, but you want to refinish your floors or get new fixtures up, or basically anything you want to do inside remodeling wise, we can handle that, which all started with these kitchen refreshes. Started with the backsplashing countertops and it just kind of evolved from there. We've built some great relationships over the last 20 years with many contractors, so we know somebody really good for just about everything that needs to be done. They like working with us because we do high-end work and we do quality work and we have very good clients. We're really fortunate. We've got great clients. I mean, in the market that we're in, and the clientele that we work with, we don't have to worry about not getting paid or, having people that are jerks to work for very often. So we've got great clients and so subs really like working with us. So we had no problem getting people in to take care of all kinds of needs for our customers. So that's been good for us this year.
That's awesome. A friend here, Spray His Life, asks, "What is your overhead at 1.2 million?"
Great question. Our goal is usually around a 50% gross profit. So our overhead is, usually around 50%, 50 to 55% altogether.
Awesome. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time. We have some questions that we ask at the end, but so I want to thank you for coming on. It's amazing just to hear someone that has their stuff together as well as you do.
Well,
I scoff at that. So
that's relative. That's relative.
You have your stuff together. You're an inspiration to a lot of people here. PCA has been huge for me as well, and I'm really glad I got to meet you there. But we have a few questions that we ask everybody at the end. One of them being, what is your favorite piece of paint paraphernalia? It could be a tool, equipment, software.
Favorite piece of paint paraphernalia, tool, equipment, or software? My favorite tool is a 3-inch Worcester brush. I have actually been, with the backlog that we have this year because of COVID, we've actually, probably for the last 6 weeks or so, we've been having to tell clients that we can't do your interiors till November, we can't do your exteriors till next spring, which means there's a lot of people that don't want to get an estimate done because they don't want to wait that long. So me as an estimator I've not been super busy. We've got so much work sold that I haven't had to do a lot of estimates lately. So I've actually been on the job side. I've probably in the last 4 to 6 weeks, I've probably done more painting than I've done in the last 10 years. So, and what I do is I like to get me a cut pot, and I like to put some paint in there, and I like to get me a baker's rack and a 3-inch Worcester brush and cut in. That's what I like to do. Just cut in all day long. I can do it all day long. So it's been fun to get in there and paint some rooms with the guys and hang out and go to lunch with them and stuff.
Now, are you a slapper or a wiper?
I used to be a wiper. I trained myself to slap. Yeah, I slap. Yeah. Sometimes I do the Nick Slavic style where I wipe one edge and then go straight up with it. This house has got, it's the house that we're working on, this massive house, but it's kind of silly, but it's got knockdown texture on the walls, which is usually just on ceilings. Generally, you have smooth walls and a knockdown texture on ceilings around here. But in this particular house, which is like freaking 8,000 square foot mansion, when they built it, they put knockdown texture on the walls, which is a travesty, but it's what we're dealing with, So I've got to cut in knockdown texture to knockdown texture and make a straight line, which, as you know, if you've ever done that, it ain't easy. And you've got to, so when you're doing a smooth wall, you don't need as much paint, you don't need as much pressure. You can dab it off and you can lay it on that smooth wall and just glide right across there. But when you've got that knockdown texture, meaning you've really got to work that paint into the crevices, and you really got to mash your brush in much harder. It's way harder to make a straight line, but you've got to load the paintbrush up way more, or you're just going to go over the top of that texture and you're not going to be able to get down into the divots. So I've been having to really load my brushes up, and I've actually been doing the dip and then wipe off one edge like Slavic does, and that way I can lay that loaded edge up right up next to the ceiling and get that paint right up there in all those crevices. So it kind of depends on this. It kind of depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great answer. How about a DIY paint tip?
Use tape. Use tape. If you want to have a professional looking paint job, you tape your casing, you tape your baseboards. My little trick is I like to follow the back edge of the baseboard and not follow the waves of the wall. Oftentimes walls are wavy, baseboard's straight. So when you're taping off, don't try to follow the contour of the wall. You want to follow that straight edge of the back of the baseboard. And I like to back my line off away from the corner about 1/16 of an inch so I can actually see the straightness of my line. I don't lay my tape straight into the corner. And I use my putty knife where my baseboard meets my casing. I'll use my putty knife to stab it in there and rip it off so that I've got when my corners are like a 45-degree corner, they're not rounded. So use tape, and like anything, you can't just tape it. You got to know the little tips and tricks. Sealing. I like to seal it in with my fingernail, and then come back with a putty knife and seal it in again with a flat putty knife, so that we're not getting bleed through underneath the tape there. But just like every single thing in painting or anything else you do, no matter how simple a task may seem, there's little tips and tricks that make the difference between professional and DIY. But learn how to tape and use tape if you want a good looking paint job.
Love it. All right. Now, my favorite question of the whole thing, because you have just dropped a ton of knowledge. You've been very impressive. Everyone is just like, wow, this guy is perfect. So now we need to bring you back down to life. So could you give us like your worst night, like the worst thing, horror story that's ever happened to a project? I once painted the wrong house.
Well, never painted the wrong house. I've definitely had guys show up at the wrong house because we didn't have the right address in the work order, but it wasn't a disaster. Well, I'm going to tell you, we're actually in the middle of a little bit of we're in the middle of a small disaster that's kind of turned into a big disaster on a job that involves 4 interior doors, which should be just unbelievably, incredibly simple to spray and finish 4 interior doors and redeliver them to the house. But we did this job, and I'm almost certain the homeowner cleaned these doors with something way before they were cured and screwed the finish up on them. So we brought them back to the shop, pro bono, sanded them up, resprayed them. It's a very, very, almost a black, very, very dark color that we're using an acrylic in, and it just didn't atomize properly, and it kind of looked orange peeled when we sprayed them. So it just looked like crap. And it being the dark color that it is, and it got sprayed with a little too much paint, they had to sit around for like 2 weeks to cure. They still wouldn't cure. They weren't cured enough to sand, because when you'd sand them, they'd get gummy. And then we ended up having to strip the doors. When the doors got stripped, they got over sanded around the profiles, so the profiles got rounded off. And long story short, we spent a small fortune on these 4 doors. We've painted them, I don't even know how many freaking times. Completely screwed these doors up. And this was a whole house repaint, a huge job, big job, very nice paint job, very good customers, very nice people. And we have just fumbled these 4 doors up multiple times. Can't seem to freaking get them right. Finally had to strip them all down to bare. And even when we did that, we screwed them up by oversanding the profiles. Now we've had to order them new doors. Of course, they're solid core, very expensive. So they're going to cost me $600. I've spent, I don't even know, $2,000 trying to fix these freaking doors that we didn't even mess up in the first place. And now I end up having to spend $600 to buy new ones. And of course, it's all out of my pocket, because we're going to do whatever we're going to do to make the job right, no matter what it costs. And we've got to wait like 6 freaking weeks for these new doors to come in before we can repaint them again and get them delivered. So it's been challenging. It's made us look stupid multiple times, and we've had to make multiple calls to the homeowner saying we screwed these doors up again. We're the best painting company in Columbia, but we can't get these 4 doors painted right. So, and I've spent a fortune on them, and we just look like clowns, but we'll suffer through it. And it's been the biggest debacle of the year, for sure. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. No matter how good you are, things just frickin' happen, man.
Hey, well, that's a tremendous way. We like to end on a high note here in ZK Live. So thank you so much for joining me. Everybody go follow Garrett Painting if you're not already following Shane. And
Garrett Painting 1. Yep. And all you guys go follow PCA National too.
Yes, PCA. It's very beneficial for paint contractors. And I know not everyone has drank the juice yet, but once you go to an expo, it'll change.
Yeah. Yeah, once you go to next one, it's like kind of like getting a tattoo. Once you go to one, you want to go to another one,
Yeah.
and another one, and another one. But yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Taught me so much.
Me too. Awesome. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Zach. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. Wow, that was an awesome episode. I knew he would be good. I had heard some of that stuff before, and my mind was just like blown. And it's so awesome to talk to Shane. Like many successful business owners, he just acts like, yeah, this is like no big deal. This is what we do. You know, we talk to Shoreline, Chris from Shoreline Painting, same thing. Like, yeah, we just do it. You know, and I think that's a great mentality to have. Not overthinking things, just getting stuff done. And people like that inspire me to be more of the type of person that just gets stuff done, doesn't try to make it the biggest deal ever. And you know, his success has, I mean, the guy's taken weeks and weeks off and his company's running smooth. I definitely aspire to be more like that. So thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, these videos go up on YouTube. They're also on iTunes and Spotify. Stay tuned for Sunday night Q&A. Thanks, guys.